All right. Hopefully you can hear me over all the noise of these machines we're going to be playing with. So yeah, I don't normally do dev streams, but I've been doing a lot of ambient audio work lately, and there's a lot to test and look at in the game, and so I thought might be fun to just do that on stream, since it's kind of boring otherwise, walking around and looking at stuff and playing with values. And if anybody has questions, or we can also talk about it. It's not my normal streaming time though, so I'm sure we'll have pretty few people show up, but whatever, just fooling around. Thought I'd show people anyway what I'm up to. This piece I've got up here, this art was just drawn by Zyallen. Right before I started the stream, when he heard I was going to start up a stream where we're looking at audio stuff, so thanks to Zyallen for that. This is their sound test bot going in for the killer sounds. Hey Zyallen, hey Captain Winky. Yeah, this is we're next to a machine right now. I started up the game. Great art. All right, so let's see. Here we are in the game. Pull that up. So also, I have a ton of windows open. I've never actually done a dev stream before, but in order to be deving, I have to have a billion windows up. So most of them are on my other screen, luckily, but it's kind of cluttered, so it'll be harder to find things. But for the most part, we're going to just be playing in-game anyway, walking around looking at stuff. Right now, we're next to a hadron collector here, which is making all this noise. Also, yeah, I have my font set really tiny so that I can see more of the map at once. I can change that in a little bit. For now, though, I wanted to have it set like this because I was looking at whole maps of how the ambient noise was being spread around. Right here. All right, so I just switched this to log, which gives a little more, it spreads the sound out a little bit more. All the machines had originally been set so that, let's see, I can control this via our debug console now to ambient. Oh wait, it's I can simultaneously set the fall off for everything to like inverse. This is what it was originally. It's recalculating everything. As you can see, the sounds don't spread quite as much, but they also drop off really fast. See, you're next to this machine, our hadron collector. As we step away from it, it immediately pretty much halves the sound here and then halves again. It gets really tiny. It makes it good at the edges, but then it's kind of weird for some machines when you step right up next to them. It gets really loud right next to the machine itself. So that worked actually for the nuclear reactor, I think, originally, which was the placeholder sound effect, which has been in Cogmind for literally 5 years. The nuclear reactor. It worked well for that, but a lot of these other sounds don't sound good with that, so we're going to switch them all probably to log. Hey, Pimsky. Welcome. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to switch them all back. We're going to go back to log, which switches all of our machines. Log takes a little longer to calculate the visuals. There we go. And I'm going to give us all the map. Yeah, I know, the sound color is pretty fun, huh? I like that. I like looking at that kind of stuff too. The way that the pathfinding for the sound spreads around the map. It's a lot of fun. You can just turn off everything else except the sound too and just look at the sound. It's neat doing that. The colors are cool too. Alright, I'm going to turn the map back on though so we can see where we're going. So right now, as you can see, once we switch to log, using the ranges we've got on the machine so far, almost the entire map is full of sound. That felt really weird when you'd walk into an empty area, like where I am now. This is an empty spot. But what I'm starting to do now is add some super low-key ambient sounds to fill in the space. Like, if I'm quiet and I don't talk right now, you might be able to hear it. Yeah, exactly, Captain Winky. The sound color does remind you of the Heat and Battle Royale. I mean, they're really similar in concept, just spreading the pathfinding, really. Obviously, for Heat, I was using orange, and for sound, I just did it, I don't know, look cool, or whatever reason. It's not something that really interferes with any of the other colors that I'm using, generally. So, just decided to do that many years ago. I added this sound system 7 years ago, when I very first started working on Cogmind as a commercial project. Back then it had this thing, and then pretty much it just kind of sat there, very little used over all these years. I guess we ended up I occasionally have been adding ambient sounds for like the special, as everyone knows, all like the special plot related things and big machines and stuff. But none of this now every single machine in the game now has audio. I just finished adding it this week. Yesterday I finished all of them, every single machine. Well, everything except the ones that are added by prefab. Some of those don't have audio, but all these regular ones do. So we're going to look around at some of the machines, and I haven't finished, but just now for the past hour I've been adding ambient, just really low-key different ambient tracks for different maps in the complex, so that we can see maybe what those sound like in combination with the machines. But the machines mix pretty well too, I think. Like right now we're in the middle of multiple machines. We can kind of hear what they're doing. It's probably better if I don't talk constantly like I normally do on my other streams, though, because you got to hear the stuff too. Hey, Johnny Cash. Terminals make sound now too. They always have. Terminals have actually always made sound. You just the thing is, the terminal sounds, they, like, you can see down here, this terminal. That's all the sound from that terminal. In fact, let me turn this off. I can turn off the sounds for individual machines now, so you can see more clearly what you're looking at. Turn this machine off. There we go. Turn that machine off. And terminals have always made sound, but some of the terminals I discovered actually while I was fixing up all this machine stuff and looking into the ambient, some of them had their sound centered not on their main terminal piece, but on another piece. Here. Terminal sounds are generally pretty low. You can hear the sound. They also have different now all the faction terminals make different sounds. That was my intent, but I hadn't done that yet until now. So yeah, terminals do make sound. It's a little you might not have heard them before if you have to sound too low, though. Yeah, Pimsky just now realizes he's heard this sound before. Yeah, that sound's in the game. It's always been there, but the thing is, all the terminals across the entire world were all using the same sound. Now there's like 8 or 9 different terminal sounds for different factions, and Obi-Wan has several of its own. Like if you go to Archives, there's a different Archives terminal sound, stuff like that. Yeah, tuning it out. It's easy to tune out. All the guns and stuff are mono right now. They're actually, a lot of them are stereo too. There are a few mono things. I don't know though. I haven't worked with this stuff in a very long time. Maybe a lot more of it's mono than I think. Not all of it though, for sure. I think it's probably easier to consider that or take it as mono, especially the way I was working with it. I think it was mixing all the channels together and eventually just forcing it into mono. But yeah, a lot of the machines are actually stereo though. Almost all of them are. There are a few that aren't. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of these guys. We're testing here, guys. Go away. This is our new fusion modulator. And I'm gonna change the name of it, but if you remember, I should probably make my cursor. I should probably increase the font size before showing too much stuff, but whatever. In the options, I don't know how many people have ever even bothered with these things. With the master volume, you can change the volume of the subcomponents, the UI, the game sounds themselves, props, which no one can probably understand, but I'm going to change that word to machines, and locale, which, I mean, it describes it at the bottom, I guess. Locale are the map-wide audio. So these are actually going to be more useful now if you want to, perhaps, if you think the machines are too loud, or you want them even louder, and you can lower the other stuff relative to that. So. Oh, you're saying they're definitely centered even if they're not mono? Yeah, they're very centered. That's for sure. And they're probably, yeah, like I said, most of them are probably mono. There's a material processor. So I remember Abe was asking about how the machines might sound, when they're mixed together, when there's a lot of stuff at once, and I think it turned out pretty well. Get in my way, dude. We're standing in the middle of several different kinds of machines now. These are the neutrino reactors. And we're going to be going to different maps and stuff too. Full audio surround with blindfolded runs? Oh god. Yeah, that would be crazy. Oh yeah, this build's going to be insane. All kinds of stuff. Ambient is also just one part of it. There's going to be new content, and gameplay stuff. It's cool. I'm like it. So here's our traditional nuclear reactor. And by the way, when I'm opening and closing the doors, technically it changes the way the sound is spreading, but this color, the sound color, is not changing at all because in my debug mode it doesn't update that unless I force it to update, because showing all of the ambient sound actually is rather calculation intensive, so it only does it once. Like we just opened this door here. Actually, let's open a different door. It's more obvious. This door over here. I opened this door, and it looks like the hallway is more quiet than it really is. If I shut off the sound and then turn it back on, you'll see the hallway got brighter. There you go. Because we let the sound through the door. But anyway, let's turn back to how it looks with the doors closed. And I'm on the smallest, earliest materials floor now because it's really easy to recalculate everything. But once we get onto the factory floors, it actually takes like 5 seconds to calculate the sound for the entire floor, so that we can see it anyway. We need audio for the stairs then. Good one, Pimsky. Yeah, it would make it kind of hard to do a blindfold run without the stairs making some sound, right? So yeah, this is regular terminal sounds. Okay, so what I wanted to test, because there's supposed to be like testing stuff, is also the way some of these sounds sound with background. We're done pretty much. I've already looked at this floor. I think it's okay. Let's head to factory real quick. Will bots make sounds? No, bots will never make sounds. All right, now we're on a factory floor. This will get bigger. You gotta actually turn on the visual. This is gonna. How long is this taking? Here we go. It's about 5 seconds. Longer than 5 seconds. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. It's gonna be done eventually. We're still waiting. Okay, maybe it's not 5 seconds. On a factory floor, it's longer than that. That was like 15 seconds. There's a factory floor. Boom. It's a lot of sound. Not a whole lot of empty spaces, given the ranges, which is decent. I like that. Lot of sound. Hey, Heavy Risk. Hey, SW already has some voice lines. Not really voiced, but if you notice the sounds that they make when they're starting up and when he's talking to you, it actually does sound like strange voices. But yeah, not voiced in English. But yeah, this is gonna change a lot of the whole atmosphere. Okay, so now I can walk around this map. Turn on that. Yeah, it might be harder to notice too. You got to really pay attention to it to get that out of it, but depends on how closely you're paying attention to the audio. All right, let's find what I want to also find is. All right, Xylan says you can hear it. There you go. Somebody other than me can hear it. Let's go back to a quiet corner. All right. Okay, so yeah, as you can hear, there is a very faint drone in the background. Just so we have some kind of ambience between all the machines, so that it doesn't go completely silent, because it's really weird when you're walking between the machines and it goes completely silent during that period. Yeah, the caves have some pretty slightly scary ambience to them. The Heavy Risk is talking about that. Well, I was thinking about. I mean, I like the cave ambience the way they are now. Although the only difference now would be if there's any machines there, and there aren't a whole lot. I haven't decided in particular what to do about some of the prefab machines. There's one machine there you would definitely find in the caves. Outposts now make noise. Active Obi-Wan outposts make noise because they have a generator, and the generator makes noise. So we'll see. We'll head into the caves and see. I didn't change any of the background there though, so you can see what else you can hear anyway. There's a construction platform, supposedly working. You know, step out in here. Okay, we're gonna step on some traps because we're still playing the game. Just watch our core die. The manufacturing mainframes, all the different mainframes. Wastes. Oh, EMP, ambient EMP. Oh, actually, I hadn't actually done the waste yet. Waste, ambient noise and waste. Yeah, I haven't gotten to all of the maps. I did again. I only did the ambient stuff literally for the past hour. I did 2 yesterday, but then I decided for the stream we really needed to get the rest of them in before actually listening in game. Because I wanted to see what all this stuff sounds like with the ambient as well. What is that? That is a subcomponent replicator doing its subcomponent replicating quite clearly, right? Yeah, it better sound like a factory, Xylem. If factory doesn't sound like a factory, we're doing something wrong, right? But we also did just pass by 2 of the bigger factory-type construction machines. A lot of the others are less... Well, actually, that's not true, but... I mean, you know, all the different... when I added the machines, I added them in terms of themes. So these are matter pumps, I think. Yeah, matter pumps. I added them all in terms of themes, so now when I'm adding the sounds, I'm basing it on the themes that go with each machine. So I think it worked out pretty well so far. I'm liking it. Oh, here's a mega fabricator to the south. The voice lines for the Z-bots. Yeah, I'm just gonna record some of me going beep boop, right? More of an empty corridor. More programmers need to go away. I could probably turn this off. A bunch of reactors. Our regular, we've heard, this is such a familiar sound, right? Yeah, mega fabrication, that's right. Let's see what else we got. We've got power conduits over here. First we're going to blow up some of these. Ooh, I hope it hits, it's going to hit the nuclear reactors. Oh, they didn't go off yet. Oh, that's not cool. Let's see if we can avoid killing ourselves while doing this. The other ones didn't go off. Power conduits. The factory floor is just the hallways and the actual production is off screen somewhere. Well, I mean, a lot technically it's here too. Obviously there's more floors and more areas that you don't ever see. That, yeah, there is stuff going on in those as well. Alright, well, we've seen most of the stuff around here. Look around. What else is out here? Oh, great, now I have to turn it back on again. Oh, this will take 15 seconds. Maybe I shouldn't turn that off. Now I have to wait again. Yeah. It's easy to turn off, not as easy to turn back on. Debugging. Anyway, alright, let's see. Is there anything else that's out here? What is these things? Oh, pressure siphons. What's down here? More assembly beds. Alright. We've heard most of the stuff here. Let me see what the background's like. Very faint. It's also a bad time to be doing any kind of audio testing because it's actually raining here right now outside rather heavily. And I have a metal awning outside my window, so... Yeah, exactly. As Captain Winky says, the fabricators produce things while you watch, including live combat bots. All right, that's good. There's some background there. But very impactful for sure. I mean, it's, finally filling in a big part of what was missing, the rest of the audio. It's the only thing that's been left incomplete on the roadmap for years now. Ever since Beta 1, ever since the entire, since Alpha was complete and the story was complete, everything else is just optional. This was the main remaining thing that wasn't optional. So what I wanted to do was first give all the machines audio, then throw some ambient on the map and see if that's enough, whether we'd want music or not or anything like this. So far, I'm thinking this is pretty good. All right, let's go to another map. Let's go to research. And I guess we'll leave it full size for now. I was going to restart with a bigger font, but you guys don't need to see the details. Who cares, right? All right, another big map. Let's turn on the ambient. This will take another 15 seconds. Yeah, it'll definitely add immersion. The main thing I would just worry about, this one doesn't have as much in the way of sound. This one, research is a lot less crazy. Or at least this research floor. I wonder if how the others compare. It has its own ambient though. Technically we're right out of range of any machines right now, but we still have some audio. I just added that one. This little drone research, kind of research sounding. Obviously research and research branches have some of the crazier machines. Here's our favorite. Everyone knows the quantum generator. That one's always been in there as a placeholder. Oh, shoot. Go away. Yes, hacks. Killing the bad guys. Getting in their way. That's the true hacking terminal, right? The debug window. Antimatter diverter. But yeah, it's because all these rooms are empty. They have no machines in them. I guess research does tend to have a lot of rooms that are mainly full of parts, you can see, rather than machines. Which can also add to atmosphere as well. I mean, silence is just as important as having sound going on. There will be some parts of the game where I think it'd be better for it to remain silent. Sound design techniques. I'm not really planning a blog post with some of my sound design techniques. It's certainly a lot more varied, but to be honest, the methods were very similar because I'm not making many of the sounds. In fact, I'm making fewer of the sounds now. I'm actually using a lot of samples that you can get online through packs and stuff, and I do a lot of editing. But the samples themselves already are as unique, for the most part, as you're hearing. I just edit them, and so that they fit a little better. And obviously, I do all the looping myself too to make these things loop. All over 100 machine sounds, I had to loop myself because a lot of the stuff that you find out there doesn't loop, or at least it won't loop at the right length, or all kinds of issues. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not really a pro at this sort of thing. I just figure stuff out. A lot of the same techniques. Yeah, PMC's asking what garrisons sound like. That's a good question. Yeah, we do want to visit a garrison. We'll head over there later. We're gonna go to all the maps that I at least added ambient to. Bunch of maps. We'll go there. Yeah, I'm just a pro at figuring stuff out. Yeah, sort of. I get by. I make do. I have been using Audacity for a very long time, so it's a pretty good program. Here's actually where I was working on just a second ago, all the ambient sounds for the background. for all these maps. That was involved cutting and crossfading. That's pretty much it, though. Get out of my way. Be nice to you also. Alright, let's skip around. I've technically already listened to all of the machines individually when I was first adding the sounds in groups. Mainly was interested to see how they sound in a map itself, where we have some background audio, some ambient, and also just the way they mix. Prototyping station. Now we can actually see the machines without going there. Particle synthesizer, we can see that over there. Engineering station in this room. See, so we're coming from the hallway. Go away. If we're coming from the hallway, oh, we're gonna get trapped. Actually, the log is gonna get really annoying now because I turned on the field of vision. I'll go to another map in a second anyway. The log gets really annoying when I turn on the field of vision because we can now see the entire map. Alright, now let's see. I'm going to turn that off again. Let us go to access. Oops. Incentivizing players to stand next to explosive machines. Yep, that's what we're aiming for, right? Ooh, that's a cool sound. What's that? Walk over to the machine. Stray fire or traps. Blow things up. Alright, now we're in access. I'm going to turn on the ambient. I just pressed it now. We'll see how long this takes. Actually, access will take longer. This might take 20 seconds. 20 to 25 seconds considering how large access is. But it has fewer machines overall. Right now we're just hearing the regular background drone. Vertical access. We can see the other advantage of the reason I'm using a smaller font again is because it enables us to see the entire map very easily without too much scrolling. You can see where all the terminals are. Not a whole lot. The energy cycler makes a unique sound though, so you can recognize things like that. Here's a machine you don't want to stand next to. But you do want to get them to stand next to it. Long scan aggregator. At least that one doesn't blow up. You like the long scan aggregator, Pimsky? Yeah, that's my idea of what it's sounding like when they're scanning space for all kinds of different signals and trying to make sense of them. Oh, here's an energy cycler. Double doors. Might want to increase the range on it, I don't know. I can do that too now with ambient 520. I'm not sure what its range is right now. Oh no. Oh, I can't do that on this map very well. I need to do this on a different map. Oh yeah. To save time, the debugging function, what it does if I try and change the sound ranges of individual machines, is has to redo all of the machines in order to properly show the difference. Hey ZXC, welcome. Yes, this time is great. I'm sure. Don't normally get to play it this time, but definitely, obviously good for everyone over here on our side of the world. It's 5:15 p.m. right now, where I am. So obviously right now is a good time for people here and in Europe. Actually, my normal streaming time isn't too bad for people here. It's in the morning, but obviously people generally prefer evenings, but most people tend to be in the U.S. So, nah, it doesn't really work. Nah. Also, people are extra interested because I'm working on dev stuff probably. But I've streamed in the afternoon before, but it tends to be usually only half as many people or even less that show up. Alright, so anyway, that's an energy cycler. Oh, actually the freight dude over here's got some sound too. Not a whole lot of sound, not a whole lot of action going on, it's just a freight elevator. But I decided there was an appropriate sound for it. What else we got? Oh, here's a big one. Get down there as we approach it. Alright, dudes, don't shoot me. Actually, I could turn off the AI. Now they can't shoot even if they see us. Or we get stuck in a stasis trap anyway. I could technically teleport us out, but whatever. This is I think a radio gravity array. Yes, radio gravity array. We're stuck in another stasis trap, right? That's annoying. Here's another explosive one. That's the spectral interrupter. So we don't get as much overlap in Access just because there aren't as many machines in general in Access. That's something I actually did address. I think it was quite a while ago, like early beta maybe. I added a couple, at least 2 new machines, maybe more, to Access because there are just too few machines in here. I should add even some more maybe, some smaller stuff to Access. But thematically, I was having trouble coming up with too much more that I wanted to really put into the floor, so that's part of why it's empty. Plus then, I mean, logically speaking, it should be a little more empty, and I thought that was okay for it. But obviously, once we add sounds, that's starting to change the whole... it looks like a big CPU, yeah. It does. But once we add sounds, it changes the whole feeling of the map, so we'll see what we do about that. Alright, so let's access... Actually... Yeah, okay. Check over there real quick. Alright. Now let's head to some branches. I did add some sound background ambience to mines. Even though there aren't a whole lot of machines here. You don't hear anything? Yeah, it's very faint. I mean, it's just like caves. It could be because my sound isn't up high enough. Oh, there's a little bit of it. What is my sound? Oh, the volume of the game is now currently at 7. Yeah, it's very faint. You might have to turn up the volume to hear it. It's like caves, actually. When I had the volume level I keep mine at, I can't actually hear the caves very well. But I need to I did all these too quickly. I need to go back over them real quick afterwards, specifically geared towards setting the volume levels. But it's meant to be barely audible. There, I raised the volume. Here's the mines. It's also much easier to hear when you have a headset on. A lot of the faint sounds. If we're on speakers, you won't hear, I think, a lot of the drones. Unless they're really obvious ones, like Command is easier. core extractor. So mine's has some stuff. Oh yeah, here's my favorite one. The plasma injector. What's back here? Ah, seismic survey stations. The Zion thinks that this is a simple docking station. Yeah, that's true. There is a similar looking thing that shows up in the deep caves. Torturers showing off their devices to a new victim. Yes, it is. It's my favorite one. Hey, that one explodes too. I love these things. It explodes really cool also. It's not the exact same. I mean, there is a little spiral to that one in ZDC. It's not the exact same, I don't think, though. There's a slight difference. Pretty sure. Unless I screwed up and accidentally made them the same. There's a laser drill. What else we got in the mines? Oh yeah, I turned off the AI so that recycler's just sitting there. Oh, it's another one of these. Hey look, it's a squad. You can't see us! Alright, something else over here. There. Alright, now we can see it. It's just a laser drill. Alright, anyway, so that's the mines. Alright. Oh, so this can go to a garrison. Got a garrison. Go to a garrison from the factory. The plasma injector, yes. Alright, let's go to a garrison. Here we go. Ah. The riff installer actually makes noise now too. Not much out here though. I think it's only when you're in the room there. It's got pretty localized sound. So as you can tell, there's a bit of a drone. Hey. Exactly, Alan. It sounds very cool before you misfire into it. We will remember that forever because you drew it. Oh, it happened to you too? It serves you right for drawing it happening to me, right? So garrisons have their own drone already. Kind of a deeper one, more prominent, kind of to make them a little spookier, ominous. They have kind of an ominous sound to them. But then of course they already had sounds from the relays. Actually, oh, it's because it's behind the wall here. What the? Or is that covered up? I can't even hear it. It's so faint we can't hear it. What happened to that sound? I'm going to turn off real quick the ambient sound. Huh. Garrison relay. Yeah, I think it might be overtaken. Whoops. Anyway, that's why we're doing this, so I can look at all this stuff. Yeah, you can barely pick it out now. The garrison relay sound is not prominent enough. I could probably just raise its volume because it was kind of low to begin with. The garrison relay is, or lower the volume of the garrison drone, but I'd probably like to keep that actually to be a little more ominous the way it is. Because there aren't many machines otherwise anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, you can hear it once you know it's there, but normally you can hear it from a little ways away, and I want to up that volume probably. All right, what else? The only other stuff we have in here are relays. There's no. We can't see the other. The only other thing that would make noise in the garrison already does. It's the phase generator. Coupler cupboards. Yeah, they're. Yeah, it makes sense, and it makes too much sense. It can, but the main reason I wanted to make sound to begin with is that was kind of a way to know that they're nearby. Certainly, a lot of blue machines, you want them to make noise for that reason. Now it's going to be less easy to differentiate based on that because now everything's making noise. But at the same time, I mean, they're coupler cupboards, but they're also connected into the system as technically, an electrical part of the riff. So, all right, that is the garrison. Where are we going next? So my list here. I think I added quarantine. Whoa, what's in that big old hallway to the east? Sheesh. Oh, I guess we can look. Oh, there we go. Just a lot of machines. Let's step into this room here real quick. Background ambience here is louder. Yeah, see, so this machine here doesn't actually make any sound. Not all the machines necessarily have to. This is the reason this one doesn't, is because it's not randomly placed. It's a prefab, and so only the prefab machines that had sounds earlier are making sounds. I think particularly in quarantine here. These, I might want to I think I'm going to add sounds to the suspension chamber. All the things that are holding artifacts. This. They all oriented a little differently, but they should make some sort of sound, and that'll help fill this in. No CRM sound. Yeah, you were asking about this one. This could as well. Yeah, it's a case of going through the prefabs now. That's the next job, and looking at what needs sounds that doesn't have one, because the prefabs operate differently. I have to add those manually. In fact, this one in particular, like this machine in particular, it's a generic machine. It has no name, and I actually don't even have a way to give a generic machine its own audio. I don't think. It might fit into the current system, I just don't have a way to add it yet. So that'll be easy. I mean, I could just tell the prefab this machine should make this sound, but it'll also have to piggyback on the current system whereby other machines are normally able to make their sounds. Anyway. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Anyway, so those are some holes to fill in. This is one of the few machines I could identify on site, and that's the generic one. Yeah, anything, it's generic only in the sense that it doesn't have a name, and because it was drawn in a prefab and not assigned a name. Because I mean, something like that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to give it some kind of unique name. It ends up wasting space in the game data for not really any much meaning. The ambient on this map is a little loud. No ambient sounds for robots, CHC. Not considering that. The only thing that you do get in terms of robots is dialogue. All the robots, all the NPCs, when they talk to you, they actually make different sounds. I think probably people have realized that. That's the only thing that differentiates. Obviously, there's weapons too. When you're talking about robots, your enemies and whatnot fighting, you can always identify by what they're shooting at you. But you can recognize sounds, tell when there's sentries and hunters coming. But no other sounds in particular. Subatomic condenser. Toomsky. Trackers making a jet engine sound would be kind of funny. Yeah, that would. Also kind of scary. I can imagine traumatized Cogmind players hearing a jet out in the real world and like freaking out. There's that sound. So yeah, we just get the terminal sounds in here. There's nothing else right now, but yeah, there you go. It's the grumble. Ion accelerator. What's this whole room sound like? A lot of noise going on in here. Yeah, I like that line too. Sound is cool. Pimpsy's asking if Obi-Wan is going to contain new content in terms of areas, robots, and items, and the answer is yeah, sure. I mean, there's a whole expansion that's going to come in the future. Remember, we're going to get the merchants and whatnot. Here's a different machine stuck in the middle here. Aeration cycler. Beta 10 is not planning to have any more maps, but there's more. Yes, happy CXE happy merchant noises. Yeah, there's more maps that are going to happen in the future. There's also lots more other stuff. I mean, robots are less common. There will be more, of course, but obviously the most common thing that's always added is parts. There's already a bunch of new parts and stuff for the next release. Yeah, I agree, Johnny. I don't think robot sounds would really fit in like that. I mean, technically I'm playing beta 10 right now, so I have access to all the new stuff too. There's we've got new stuff to play with, but I'm not doing a beta 10 content stream. Just playing with the audio here. Alright, let's go to testing. Yeah, right now there's no particular fortress sound. We're in testing. Yes, exactly, Captain Winky. The sounds of science. It's a very science-sounding area. Pimsky. All science sounds like this, yes. Yep, sounding pretty sciencey. More examples of prefabs that don't have sounds. Regular machines. Science is just sophisticated dubstep. Yeah, we've seen you before. Mason extractors. Resonance scanner. Oh, what's that one? Oh, that was a resonance scanner, right? Some of the machines make sounds a little more intermittently. Most are on a shorter loop, but it's a biostasis chamber. Yeah, I'm liking the log rather than the inverse for sure. The sounds work gradually, much better. Yeah, ZXC, I was mentioning earlier, I guess before you showed up, all different faction terminals now make different sounds. They don't all just use the same sound effect that was intended for the OB10's terminals only. Well, no, I just added them as a placeholder to all other terminals, but now they make unique sounds. We haven't gone to any yet. You can go listen to one, I guess. Let me see. We'll head there soon. Looking at my list of stuff here. All right, we've done all of the maps that have background, I believe. New background, anyway. Let's go to the caves. Let's go to the upper caves. Alright, we're now in the caves. Look at that, we're being ambushed in the caves. Ouch. Don't do that. Special angry sound for overloaded fabricator. Yeah, that, well, technically there is the special sound because it makes the special sound when it zaps things. But yeah, there's no special sound when it's overloaded only. That would be nice, although technically that would require an expansion of the audio system because machines aren't allowed to have multiple different sounds for different states. So that would be probably something I wouldn't want to do. So here's the cave, and that's all. That's it. That's the only sound in this whole cave. It must be a terminal of some sort over there. Probably a derelict terminal. Yeah, it's a derelict terminal. Warlord. We can go listen to it. That's the new sound for a derelict terminal. That's true, Zion. It could add different sounds for destabilized reactors. Although that would end up being, I don't know, that'd be really complex. It'd be layered sounds instead of completely replacing, probably, I think. And then also you have the fact that different layers would only work with certain kinds of machines. So you end up with a whole lot of extra sounds. But yeah, sure, that's the kind of thing you do, you know, I mean, going the extra 5 miles after you finish, you know, it's one of the levels of polish that you can add. Things that happen slowly over time, if they happen. Disabled machines don't make sounds, Pimsky. I mean, I'm trying to think if you can have an example of that so far, but... Well, technically you do. I mean, you destroy machines like data miner's machine or whatever, or the CDIS manufacture module and stuff, it all gets shut down when you disable something. That's true, Johnny. Not knowing if something's about to blow up is part of the fun. Alright, let's go to the next cave map. See if there's anything here. Looking for an outpost. There are no outposts here. Wow. Okay, fine then. Let's go to Proxy Caves. Gotta be an outpost in the Proxy Caves, right? Maybe not. Nothing but a terminal. Cave's pretty silent. Alright, let's go to Lower Caves then. Maybe there's something here. Nope, just some terminals. Oh, 2 terminals. Haven't found a base yet. Still haven't found a base. Dang. Alright, fine, let's restart. Now let's go back to the caves again. There we go, found one. Okay. The thing is, you can already see bases, so it's not like you really need to hear them. I mean, they're always pretty obvious. Plus the doors are closed, so it's not as loud outside. Yeah, it's possible, Pimsky, audio for major events. Zhirov helped not so much because there's not really much that could change with the audio there. It's not like a major event. That's just a couple bots helping out. But because there's no music. But yeah, I've thought about stuff for that. We'll see. It's certainly not going to be in the first. I'm pretty sure that won't be in the first in beta 10, the first release of audio. But we'll see what happens. So as you go, there's a bass that you can hear. Just a low-key generator. You won't really probably hear it anyway because it'll blow up, right? Part of why these things are in here, though, they really explode for a hell of a lot of damage. If you can shoot a generator like through a wall, and you kill almost everyone inside. Obviously, that doesn't leave you much, but it is a way to take out an active base. Okay, let's see. Data miner already has that. Yeah, or just don't bother them. Exactly, Pimsky. Yeah. Normally that's what you do. What I'm saying is when there's like no option, or like they're activated or something. If the base is activated, maybe you want an easy way to blow them up. Let's see. Oh, the only other place that we haven't gone is I don't know. I guess I won't go to the spoilery place, but the section is actually I did do some background in there and it has some of its own unique stuff to look at. I'll look that at myself later. Oh, hey, Plastic Heart. Yes, we're in a very large window with very small stuff because we're just looking at pretty colors, right? Speaking of, let's go back to materials of medium-sized materials floor. So we can see entire maps more easily with the small font. I think we saw all the maps that I've added stuff for. Oh no, wait, there's one more. I forgot. I had it on the side part of my list. Armory. There's another map we can go to. Armory. There's Armory. Regular terminal. Oh, fabricator actually. Pimpsy's asking, what does Armory... Yeah. Yep, Armory's scary, to Alan. What does a node sound like? What node? You mean the control nodes in, like, hub? They sound electrically. Actually, that's a place we didn't go. I didn't have a background sound for hub yet, but we can go there and listen to the actual machines. I think hub only has 3 unique machines, though. The teleporting nodes. Oh, the teleporting nodes. Hey, those do actually make sound now. Yeah, I did add one. I forgot about that. Alright, we'll have to spawn one. There we go. There it is. There we go. There's now a dimensional slip node on the ground here, and it makes its own sound. So let us see the sound. There it is. Yeah, so those do make sound because they're technically an active machine type object, so they can do that. Oh, Armory, transport mainframe was an Armory too. Is a siege mode Cogmind an active machine type object? No, but if you recall, when you enter and exit siege mode, there is a cool sound effect associated with it. But for active, no. I mean, Cogmind is never an actual machine object. It's a different kind of object in the game. But I mean, technically, we could add a sound effect for that, but I don't see why that's really necessary. But heavy treads and. That was the, remember that's the sound effect for entering siege mode, exiting siege mode. Yeah, it's static, that's true. But it's a completely different object in the architecture. What else is in here? Nothing else new or unique, it looks like, but yeah, okay, so. Add a sound effect from breaking the sound barrier when going faster than 10. That's funny ideas, Alan. Every time you start moving. Don't want to get too crazy with the part-specific sounds, though. Because the thing is, I mean, once you have one, then you need more. I mean, for consistency's sake. As soon as you have... As soon as one element of a class has some feature, you need to apply it to everything. Otherwise, people think it's missing. It seems it becomes inconsistent. What's what? What were we talking about, Bad Emperor? Hey, Bad Emperor, did you just show up, or did you mean specifically the transport mainframe? We're looking at the ambient audio, testing all these different maps. So Armory was one of the ones that we hadn't tested yet. Ah, you just showed up. Yeah, we're doing dev stuff. First time I've actually done a dev stream. Mainly because it doesn't involve coding, which is boring and slow and I have to focus. This one, just get to like walk around and observe, right? It's fun. Add sound effects to coding. Yeah, it's like the I've seen examples of the joke IDE features, the editor, coding editors, where you have every time you type, there's like particle effects and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I don't even know if some of those are sound effects, but it's mostly this jokes thing that people show. Yeah, level up sounds and victory on purging a bug. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, on my list here, we've done most things. I didn't add anything special to Warlord. Actually, let me think. There are different derelict machines, actually. We can go listen to derelict machines. Warlord has some. Sad sounds while looking for variables. Here's Warlord's base. Warlord's base, that's right, Zion 2. The quarantine does have its own sounds. Not a whole lot else going on in the back, but technically the derelicts do have some of their own machines and tech. When you're walking through the quarantine array. Terminals to this. Oops, most other places are terminals. Plastic Heart, the beginning of the war band. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. There's a unique machine back here. I don't know what this one is. Oh. The signal jammer. They have a signal jammer in the back. Of course they do. That's not all, though. They can have other machines in here as well. They're just not all represented in this particular spawn. There's a couple unique ones, though. Actually 3, I guess. Technically, there's 3 derelict-specific machines here. Oh, hey, Trough. I use Audacity and samples. Here's the ambient stuff I was working on right before the stream. Not a whole lot of layering going on in this particular example, but I've written on my blog before about some of the audio stuff I do. Hasn't changed a whole lot over the years in terms of techniques. Captain Winky says you can't hear it, but W's throwing pipes heavy metal directly to him. But yeah, I work with samples that you can get in like online packs, and then do a lot of editing to get them to work for my needs. It's hard to use that stuff directly. I mean, you can, but the effect won't be quite as good, especially if you need a large number of them like I do, because you just won't have the amount of content. So yeah, I don't make stuff from scratch myself. That's a whole different discipline. Let's see. Okay, so where else should we go? Yeah, well, that was extra. I guess we can go to Zion. I don't know what's in Zion, actually. I didn't, except the quarantine array. Probably not much. There's a cloaking generator. Oh, in fact, there's a cloaking generator right around the corner. But that's it. There's nothing else in Zion. Oh, well, that's not true. I forgot. All right, there's the terminal up there. This has always made the sound, the imprinting machine. But now there's the teleporter also makes a sound, too, as you're walking by. You can hear it out in the hallway, too. The cloak generator. Oh, that's right. Pinsky's reminding me of the extension branch. I didn't add any ambient there, but let me think. There might be a few unique machines out there. That's right. There's the transfer stations. I think they make their own sounds there too, in addition to the sounds of the AIs using them. Same quarantine array. And we've got back here the teleporter. Talk to the dude. Careful, don't touch anything. I've almost got this thing working again. And then there's the familiar imprinting room. Alright. Bit of extension. Transfer stations. Not really anything else. It's all terminals and transfer stations. Yeah, the only unique machine in here at the moment is the transfer station. There could also be an energy cycler, of course, but apparently there isn't one in this particular layout. If there was, we'd see it on the ambient. Surf exits transfer station. It's on the next floor. Oh, never mind. It kicked me out. Oh, back in the factory. The very factory-ish factory. I was hoping it would sound a lot like a factory. Alright, let's turn on the ambient. That'll take a little while. Big factory floors, lots of machines. Oh yeah, I guess we could have gone to the hub too. Hub does have some, has some more unique machines. This layout seems sufficiently cacophonous. Hey, Core. Oh, Cogmind on the right monitor, Cogmind just on the left. Welcome to the addiction, yes. But hey, if you're playing Cogmind right now, you can get the sound effects, right? Confuse the hell out of you, I guess. This is a factory. There's nothing new here. We're in its dev mode, so I've got the ambient sounds on. No bonus points if you can make the factory before I leave this map, Core. They could radiate ambient heat like this, Zion. The question is, would you really want them to? That would really mess up balance a whole lot. Hey, you're actually really close, Core. You can see in this hallway the sounds coming out of each room. Oh, hi guys. Oh, you're headed to Zion? I just meant before you get to factory, Core. But anyway, I'm done here now, for the most part. I like the way the factory's turned out so far. The ambient really helped a lot. I was testing this out before I added the map ambience, and just the fact that it would go completely silent between machines just really was not cool. Now it's nice to have a little bit of connection. The machines are doing all the rest of the work. Have to see how it feels when you're actually playing a full run too. That'll be completely different. But what I'm going to do is, pretty soon, I don't know, within the next week or so, I'm going to release a beta 10 version for patrons to actually play with the sound effects in. So basically exactly what I have now, which means you'll also get the rest of beta 10, which means all the drone stuff and other improvements. All right, let's go to Hub. I guess we can also go to Archives too. That must be a machine we're hearing because Hub does not have ambient sound yet. Map-wide, I mean. This is the control nodes. Just electric-y things. There's a nice looking map. Look at all those control nodes. They're everywhere. Oh yes, backup mainframe. There's several different types of mainframes here. Archive unit. Yeah, I didn't. Zion was talking about steam and hot and obstructive vision. Yeah, I didn't. Early, before starting Cogmind, I decided there's going to be no gases, which for me was, I mean, it's an important decision to make early on, and for me it was. I didn't want to remove them because they were originally in the game for XCOM. We have fire and smoke and stuff. But yeah, for Cogmind it made sense to remove them. Didn't want that level of visual complexity. Be hard to reconcile with everything else we need the background cells for, because that's normally the background colors, because that's normally how you implement stuff like that, is using background colors. Alright, well, that is the unique stuff here. Let us go to... because actually these have always made sound. The cursed network hubs. Yeah, exactly, Xylan. Brogue can afford to do that because it's a much tighter game. I was surprised how tight it was, actually. I didn't seriously play Brogue for several runs until just earlier this year, and I was surprised by how relatively simple it is. I mean, it doesn't have a whole ton of systems and items and monsters. It's relatively tight compared to all the other major roguelikes. It's pretty bite-sized, but obviously has a lot of staying power and is still plenty deep. You can get deep. You don't have to have a lot of content to be deep, but it was less than I expected. Where was I going to go? I was going to go to the archives real quick. But yeah, tightness is definitely good. Ooh, archives is tiny. What else? There's nothing in here. Oh, look at that. Can you believe it? Jirov's here. I've never actually met him here on a normal run. Huh. How unusual. Hello, Jirov. Let's turn the AI back on, I guess. These terminals sound a little bit different. Here they come. All right, we're going to end on this note. Hey, see ya, Pimsky. I'm actually going to end the stream in another minute here. We're pretty much done checking out everything cursorily. I am going to head off and do a bunch more work on that later. But yeah, exactly, Zylan. Good idea. Work and food. You guys can get back to that. Yeah, that's about right for an average core. Having met him about twice or 12 times being here. Actually, is the AI on or off? Here it is. We're going to end on this note with them taking this place out. Explosions going on out there. Yes, exactly. As Zion says, it's time for Jirov's signature move. Wait, oh, he left. Okay, here it goes. I guess it's gonna... Oh wait, shoot, I'm gonna die first. I need to make sure I don't die. My core is at 98. No, I didn't want that. Fine, I'll just put these on. That's a lot of bots over there. Come on, I just want to see the place explode. I think there's... There we go, okay. There, now you guys can't hurt me. Alright, you gotta let them shoot me though. There's a lot of bots over there. Nice. Nice. Wicked. Alright, good job. Okay. That's the end of the stream. We're going to end it on that note. So yeah, thanks for showing up. It was fun to check through that. This is beta 10. I'm going to release the sound stuff to patrons within like another week, probably sometime next week. Well, I guess today's Friday, so yeah, I won't be able to get to it before then. Sometime during next week, I guess, to play around with, and you can give some feedback and whatever. And there'll be a while. It's going to be a while before beta 10 is actually out, though, because there's still a lot of other stuff to do, even beyond just the ambience. But the ambient sounds are also a lot of work still left. So yeah, glad you guys liked it. It's sounding, I think it's starting to come together nicely. Been basically spending the last 10 days or so putting all these sounds together for the game. Before I get off track and start talking about all kinds of more stuff, that's it. And I will be back next week, Tuesday, with or I guess Monday for a lot of people, for my regular stream. We're going to play Armored Commander 2 again. So maybe see you then.